Hello, my name is Greg Pragel. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm an equity actor and I am fully vaccinated. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Why can't you? Right? I forgot about the list until her second attempt, just over 10 years later. Dad showed up halfway through chemistry, that same trapdoor feeling, the fight or flight, the same wordless drive to the hospital. As a teenager, I dealt with it less well. I wore my heart on my sleeve. The night she came home, she sat at the kitchen table and she said if it wasn't for the ham and pineapple pizza lining her stomach from the night before, she'd be dead. And I said, you took 3 weeks worth of antidepressants, a packet of aspirin, and half a tub of antihistamines. You're probably healthier than I am. If you're going to kill yourself, go jump off a bridge. And rather than storming off, I sat there and shoveled food into my mouth. I spent ages on this meal, and I was furious that she was sitting there wishing she was dead and letting it go cold. And then after a moment of absolute, deafening silence, she started to laugh. And it was such a genuine laugh that after a while, I found myself joining in. And eventually my dad, he left the table and got up and went into his study to listen to records. That night I couldn't sleep. I wanted to clear out my room. I was packing up things that I wanted to keep and throwing away things that I didn't. I was shaking. Have you ever had that? Where your hands are shaking and your breath is deeper and you're surrounded by big bags full of your things and you realize, oh, yeah, I'm really upset. Right? I must be really upset. And then inside a box under my bed, underneath some sticker albums, some seashells, and some action figures, I found the list. And I sat on the floor and I read it through. Number 1.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Ice cream. The younger version of me dealt with this so much better. He wasn't self-righteous. The younger version of me, the younger me was hopeful. Naive, of course, but hopeful. And so when I got to the end of the list, I picked up a pen and I continued where that little boy had left off. 3:15.
The smell of old books.
Yeah. 3:16.
Andre Agassi.
3:17.
The even-numbered Star Trek films.
3:18.
Burning things.
Yep. 3:19.
Laughing so hard you shoot milk out of your nose.
3:20.
Making up after an argument.
The next morning, I sat at the end of my mom's bed and I read the list to her. And she got up and left the room. I followed her. I read louder. 5:16.
Winning something.
5:17.
Knowing someone well enough to get them to check your teeth for broccoli.
Yeah. And the next few days and weeks, I would leave messages on the answering machine. And I would turn off the radio. And I would stand in front of the TV. I spent a lot of time talking to her back. 5:18.
When idioms coincide with real life occurrences, for instance, waking up, Realizing something and simultaneously smelling coffee.
Oh, a 521.
The word plinth.
Plinth. And then I began to leave post-it notes around the house, like stuck to various things. On her mirror, 575.
Piglets.
On the kettle, 654.
Marlon Brando.
Woo! And on her bed, 11. Bed. And then every morning I would open my door and I would see a small stack of yellow squares of paper. And so I became more inventive. I started writing on the inside of cereal boxes or shoes, carving words into pieces of fruit, rearranging the magnets on the fridge. 201.
Hammocks.
Yep, on the inside of some mustard. 324.
Nina Simone's voice.
Stenciled onto a baguette. It was my aim now to reach 1,000. And I wasn't allowed to cheat, which meant A, no repetition. B, things had to be genuinely wonderful and life-affirming. And C, not too many material things. So for a few months, the list was my sole focus. 761.
Deciding you're not too old to climb trees.
823.
Skinny dipping.
Woo! And then the week before I left for college, 992.
Knowing to jangle keys at the wildlife park if you want the otters to come out.
993.
Having dessert as a main course.
994.
Hairdressers who listen to what you want.
995.
Bubble wrap.
996.
Really good oranges.
Ooh. And then I started to get the thought that my mom no longer loved my dad. I put the thought out of my mind and returned to the list. 997.
Cycling downhill.
998.
Aromatic duck pancakes with hoisin sauce.
Oh. It's common for children of suicides to blame themselves. It's natural. 999.
Sunlight.
However much you know you're not to blame. You can't help feeling like you failed them. It's not fair to feel this way, but it's natural.